Drugs. They affect not only the mind, heart, and soul of our nation's youth, but also the very fabric of our judicial system. Over 7 million alcohol and other drug-dependent citizens are now caught in the adult justice system, most without access to treatment. Some say that unless the nation drastically changes its sentencing practices, it is estimated that 1 in every 178 Americans will be living behind bars by 2011.
It's a major problem, and these persons without appropriate structure and intervention will continue with this repetitive cycle.
The rising toll of substance abuse and addiction is undeniable, while our overcrowded prisons do little to curb drug addiction and criminal behavior. It's a problem that affects society at large, whether you're a common citizen or even a celebrity.
They're out of control. They're sick. You know, we're dealing with a sickness here, and it has to be dealt with on a deeply personal level, with compassion, with understanding. And it's also very practical because we've been filling the jails with people who are only there because of an incident that occurred while they were under the influence of drugs or alcohol.
It is for this reason the drug court was established, dreamed up by visionaries from the criminal justice system as an effective way to address drug abuse and associated crime through intervention, rehabilitation, and transformation.
The reason that drug courts began probably could be attributed to the vast increase in the number of people who were going to prisons and jails in the 1980s, an 8-fold increase. And with that, people that were dealing with the problem, the judges, the treatment providers, the DAs and public defenders and others, sought a new way of dealing with the problem, and that turned out to be drug court.
There's a need for a specialized court simply because traditional sentences did not work. It makes no difference whether you sentence someone to jail for 3 hours or 3 months or 3 years. If that person walks out of your courtroom and goes into a lockup situation, when they get released, if the underlying issue of substance abuse is not addressed, the first thing they will do is go to the first bar they get to and start the cycle all over, or go home and get the first fix and start their drug use all over again. So the repetitive cycle for these repeat offenders, these high-risk repeat offenders, must be handled through intervention.
Today, drug courts transform over 120,000 addicts each year in the adult, juvenile, and family court system into drug-free, productive citizens. Drug courts are the antidote, and the results are evident from the parade of success stories told each year at the annual National Drug Court Conference in Washington, D.C., the largest conference in the nation related to drugs and crime.
I weighed 87 pounds. I used crack cocaine. For 6 years, I used cocaine my whole pregnancy. So I feel like a miracle standing here, and I feel like my daughter's a miracle, and it's all because of Dependency Drug Court. Thank you.
I have learned that it's all right for a judge to shed a tear from the bench.
That is why you and you and you should take drug courts to scale.
Well, these are people who are aware of the problem and have the professional skills and the power to really help people in a professional way that people on the outside are hardly aware of. Rather than locking people up for their addictions, these people have learned that they can make a difference in people's lives by giving them an opportunity to become themselves again, to be free of addiction.
Yet despite their immense success, drug courts are not widely available and thus not prescribed to everyone who needs them. It's a battle cry that now rings from local courts to Capitol Hill, where our legislators have joined in a united front to increase funding for drug courts to ensure they serve the highest percentage of citizens in the justice system.
The National Association of Drug Court Professionals represents 20,000 criminal justice professionals comprised of judges, prosecutors, law enforcement, probation, treatment, anyone who works in the courts. Those are folks that truly have compassion and care for the addicted. It is a powerful constituency, 20,000 strong, and we're getting stronger.
Drug courts represent the coordinated efforts of justice and treatment professionals to actively intervene and break the cycle of substance abuse, addiction, and crime. As a viable alternative to prison and probation, The power of the drug court is in its capacity to transform lives and save families.
But we look forward, and it'll be a great day of celebration, the day that we will arrive here and we will have 100% compliance by all of our participants within the last 2-week period. That's the day that excites us.
The rising toll of substance abuse and addiction is undeniable in this country, while our overcrowded prisons do little to curb drug addiction and criminal behavior. The National Association of Drug Court Professionals is changing the face of the American justice system through the development and nationwide implementation of drug courts in the adult, juvenile, and family court systems.
Drug courts are a transforming force, and they are a transforming force for the people who come before the court, as well as those who work in the court. And so ultimately, drug courts will change the people, the addicts, as well as the professionals.
As an alternative to less effective interventions like prison and probation, drug courts can quickly identify substance-abusing offenders and place them under ongoing judicial monitoring, along with effective long-term treatment.
I've seen more lives changed, and actually that's an understatement, transformed in a positive direction than I ever dreamt possible.
The NADCP believes that drug abusers and addicts need to be treated, not imprisoned. These drug court professionals have become a community of interventionists dedicated to breaking the cycle of addiction and restoring each individual's life. The result is a criminal justice system that is transformed into a successful public health intervention. The NADCP believes that drug courts must become the norm, not the exception, as the preeminent way of doing business in the criminal and family justice system. For more information, call 877-507-3229 or visit nadcp.org.